The wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. And what I want to know is, where's the script writing of Kubrick? Because they really missed out on an acronym. They could have used it. Shazam would have worked much better. How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing today?
Who's the master?
That's right.
Could you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I just want to make sure my computer synced.
Guys, we're real bad about doing this. So first of all, thank you for joining our Shazam spoiler discussion. Yes, it is a spoiler discussion. We keep forgetting to tell you guys that because we just assume you'll know it. So I don't want to get any angry comments because this time we got you this time. It's a spoiler discussion. We will be discussing the movie that came out yesterday that we got to watch. For more great content like this, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification.
Yes. You know, I should have put somewhere spoiler discussion, but I just wanted to.
I mean, you think they would know.
Yeah.
You think they would know, but hey, sometimes you just
and I put it in the title. I did.
Context clues aren't.
It's just not on the thumbnail. It's not on this bad boy. But I figured that the logo of the movie is better than just writing the title. I feel like that catches the eye a little better.
Yeah. Hey, look, that is a pretty good job on that thumbnail. I'm not gonna lie, that thumbnail's fire.
No, thanks. I try to blur out the back a little bit so we look important because let's face it, we're so unimportant. It's pathetic.
Well, we're not the Philly fiasco. That was my first question watching this. Isn't all of Philly a fiasco? Have you been to Philly? The food is fire. Yeah. Yo, some of the best food. Like, I hate on Philly. I can't hate on their food culture. Their food is amazing, but it's not the friendliest city in the world.
I remember.
I can think of a whole lot of other states I'd rather be saving.
Yeah, that Bill Bird deal where he was in that Philadelphia comedy festival.
So
he's like, "City of brotherly of my ass."
Yeah, he just did that off the riff.
It's epic. Like, that's a legendary milestone event that will never be repeated again. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For those of you who don't know, Bill Burr, who is one of the stars of The Mandalorian, at one point was a comedian, and he went up on stage in Philly I think he was opening for somebody. He was a feature, right? So the second act. Anyway, Philadelphia boos everybody when they come on stage. They booed Santa Claus famously, right? And so Bill Burr gets on stage and they start booing him. And so Bill Burr decides, screw my skit or my set list that I've got memorized. I'm just going to go 15 minutes unadulterated, just bashing Philly from the top of my head. And it was so funny that the people in the crowd started cheering for him at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he turned the crowd back over. I mean, and chances are you guys have probably seen it. You know what we're talking about, but it's so worth mentioning because it literally is. I've never seen anything on that scale before, as far as a comedian just commanding it back, being like in front of so many people. I mean, think about it. He was talking shit to thousands of people, and it's just amazing to me. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's not, for those of you who don't know, comedians don't go up there and just riff off the top of their head. That would be horrible. That would be a horrible experience. You think that's what you want your comedians to be? That's not what they are. They rehearse.
Oh, yeah.
They practice. They do crowd work, which, at the beginning of the show, which they're picking people out of the audiences and go off the top of their head there. But you can't do an entire hour-long set like that. That's just not going to be good stuff. For him to throw his set out and just go off the top of his head about Philadelphia, and it's not all fluid. It's not going to be, but it's still great,
And then he counted it down 11 more minutes.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so funny.
Yeah. But speaking of Philadelphia, we don't want to get off.
Hey, there. It wasn't funny, or what wasn't fun? This movie.
All right. So look, first off, let me just do something real quick here. If you guys don't know the channel and know the way Anshul and I tend to work sometimes, I'm just going to give you a little taste of it.
In this fight, this might be a perfect.
This whole episode's going to be a versus, dude. Seriously, because
there is.
I don't see what you didn't. I see things that you could have picked apart and said that was stupid. But as far as calling the movie cringe, I just didn't get it.
Well, let's fill people in on who Shazam is. Okay, Shazam, Captain Marvel, was originally a part of another comic brand, got bought out by DC, has been a signature character for DC. I'll say signature in the loosest terms because while he is a very recognized character by comic book fans, general public doesn't really know him too much. Had a short-lived 70s TV show. And then now he's had these two movies. And a lot of people don't know that this movie is actually based off a real-life story. I don't know if you know that.
This movie is literally based off a real-life story?
Yeah. So
Come on.
five kids found a wizard, true enough, and they got granted a wish to get turned into adults, but they didn't have superpowers, right? And they still had the minds of kids. So they were trying to figure out what they could do as adults while still having the mind of children. And they decided that they would go to DC and get a job writing a superhero movie. And they wrote this movie because this movie was literally written by a bunch of 11-year-olds. It had to be. It had to be, man.
Well, look, don't you think the same thing can be said about the last one?
Okay, let's go over this last sequence. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this like I'm an 11-year-old kid. The spoilers abound for the last part of the movie. Okay, right? So Shazam has a fight with a dragon, and the fight is epic, and it's a dome, and there's all sorts of lightning, and then Shazam dies, and Shazam's family comes. They see him dead, and they're really sad. And so the next scene, they go to Greece, and then Shazam's dead. He's lying there dead in the sand, and then Wonder Woman comes.
That was cheesy. I'm not gonna take away from that.
The wizard says, "Oh, we could bring back Shazam to life. Too bad there's not a god." And then Wonder Woman shows up and she says, "I'm a god, though." And she brings Shazam back to life, and she gives the gods back her powers. And then Shazam tries to ask her out, but he's got a spider in his teeth, so he looks silly.
Okay,
does that not sound like it came out of the mind of a 6-year-old?
I was laughing at the spider in the teeth. I think that the way that she just came about and put a spark in the thing like that, it's like sort of like, okay, anybody, you'll just buy this because we're saying that we'll do it. I get that that was bad. And I understand that like they took away, it would have been really cool and added some gravity to this movie if he actually would have died. But we all knew that wasn't really going to happen. I mean, I felt like it wasn't going to happen.
I was so hoping. I was like, just die. Just freaking die.
But for her to show up and her have that little cameo right there, that was nothing but fan service, and that's not what the whole movie was. That's the same thing as that woman part where they're like, "Let's get them, girls," in Endgame. It doesn't define the whole film. So, like for me,
Endgame was a good movie.
I enjoyed this movie. I didn't think that. Look, to me, it was no more childish than the last one, and so this is their family-ish style of movie. Even the monsters, while they were a little gorier, they still had a very younger, childish design enough to where they weren't like, something out of a Exorcist film or something. You know what I'm saying? Like they still had like shapes to them, and it was kind of like, oh, that looks like it could be in a video game or something.
The bad guys were more two-dimensional than any comic book movie I can recall. They just weren't well developed. I mean, even the girl that plays the love interest of Freddie Freeman, that's kind of the conflicted baddie. Even you see that coming from a mile away. You do. The scene. Another scene that struck me is when Helen Mirren's character traps Philadelphia in a dome, and Zachary Levi's Shazam flies up and smashes his face into the dome. The first thing I thought of was the Supergirl movie with Helen Slater. When she runs into that invisible whatever force field or whatever, I was like, this movie is basically Helen Slater's Supergirl.
I wonder if there was a little bit of an homage to that.
I think it was unintentional.
So, like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure that when there's a guy at the very end when everything's hitting the fan, they're like in a park, and there's a dude that's like in the front of the screen that's got a black shirt and kind of grayish hair and something, and like a dragon or something takes him up and flies him in, in the air. He's like, ah! I'm pretty sure that was the director.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that was David S. Sandberg, who, again, his first movies for Warner Brothers were Lights Out and Annabelle Creation, which you saw the Annabelle doll in this sitting at the table at the beginning. He's like, I'm a child's physician, and they show that table, and there's the Annabelle doll. So little things like that. Yes. So like this guy, well, I'm gonna try to bring it over here in just a second, but I'll show it to you. This guy here in just a second. He was he was made a cameo. I thought that was kind of cool. But look, I thought that the cameo by Captain Marvel, the fact that they said Captain Marvel in it was kind of cool. And that like that guy that said Captain Marvel, that's the kid that played Billy Batson in the old show.
Yeah.
So
that's all nice.
That was cool. And like, I don't know. Of course, Mark Strong is in Dr. Savannah, his villain was cooler. It was better. It worked more. It was like the one guy that was sort of the equal against him sort of thing, but he was smarter, and I liked that better. I did. I'm not going to deny that. But I think the film was better made as far as the pace of it. I thought the humor was still there. Did Billy Batson look too old? Yes, he did. He looked like a 25.
They all look like they should be running for office.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna take
Mary Marvel. Her adult version is her because they realize we can't have this 25-year-old actress or whatever she is, and then have somebody else play the adult version of her. That's just ridiculous.
which that bugged me as well.
By the way, she was one of the best parts of the movie. Just the whole, scene she was in where she was like, "I'm hungover." I thought that was funny. That was one of the few bits of humor that really hit with me.
The dentist.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Did she say the dentist? The eye doctor. It was the eye doctor.
Eye doctor. Yeah. Actually, the scenes between Freddy and the wizard worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Those were some of the scenes I liked.
I thought Freddy was maybe funnier in this one. Maybe.
I mean,
I got a couple. Let me see some of the lines I wrote down that Freddy said, because some of the stuff he said did crack me up. Now, the caterpillar at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was at the end of the first one, right?
Yeah.
So what is that? I feel like I've seen that before in the comics, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the villain. I read it when because I wasn't a huge Shazam fan, right? So don't remember the name of the villain, and it's not going to matter because the third one's not going to get made. So
what are they going to do though with the third one though? I mean, or what are they going to do with Shazam? Because they talk about the JSA now, and you saw that post-credit scene with Hardcore and Diebeard, who are both in Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what's up with that? Spoiler alerts, by the way, guys, if you're just tuning in.
Well, I think there might be something to it because I honestly think the only reason this movie didn't get canned like Batgirl is because Zachary Levi is friends with James Gunn. Because, I mean, how much worse could a Batgirl have been than this movie?
I mean, I think there's a chance it could have been really bad. I mean, from what I understand, it was unwatchable.
This movie was unwatchable to me. This movie was horrible, man.
So tell me what was different though about it than the first movie, as far as the
first one had a more coherent plot, and I think the reason the first one was able to have a more coherent plot is because it didn't spread itself too thin around too many people. Right? You'd never really get the feeling like this story is focused in on one thing in particular, because it's worried about Freddy, it's worried about members of the Shazam family, it's worried about the parents, it's worried about all these other things. It's trying to do all these other things in a short runtime, and doesn't do any of them well. And honestly, that's why I think the writing suffers from it.
Okay, so it was the plot that you just hated,
the dialogue, the plot, the characters.
Okay. Like I wrote down, I didn't care for the Anna character. I thought that Lucy Liu's stuff could have been a little better. Helen Mirren. I mean, I feel like that stuff is just sort of the kind of, there was nothing new about it.
Mm-hmm. Also, are we not supposed to does nobody know who Atlas is in the writer's room?
Okay, so that's the thing though. Remember,
those girls are two of those guys. Is Lucy Liu's characters, Helen Mirren's character, are loosely based on Atlas's daughters from Greek mythology. But Atlas himself is presented as some sort of wizard, and we're like, could you pick a different, Titan? Well, we all know who Atlas is supposed to be.
I don't ever remember Captain Marvel when I was reading Captain Marvel or any Shazam-ish stuff.
Mm-hmm. He goes by Shazam now, so you're all good there.
Right. I don't remember it being a kid's driven, like, okay, I don't remember him being childish like that. Like Zachary Levi's portraying him. Mm-hmm. They chose to do that for this franchise movie-wise. Captain Marvel arguably got like kind of serious and was sort of like more in that upper tier of, like you said, the mythology type stuff. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they just from square one were like, hey, look, we're doing a childish version, more of a family version of this thing. That's what they did from the beginning of part one. So for them to do the characters like this, again, Savannah was better, but it didn't ruin it for me. I thought the action scene at the end, the uppercut with the dragon, that was awesome, dude. Like when he flows backwards and the tail's swiping under him and he comes back and he's just like, boom, and he flies up and uppercuts. Man, I don't know. It was giving it to me, giving me the feels.
I mean, like at this point that we've seen all this great superhero action. So does it really stand out for me? Yeah, it looked nice, but it's not anything that amazed me.
Some of it did for me though. I don't know why. I was just.
All right, to go back and answer your questions about Shazam. All right, so the original version of Shazam, Billy is a good kid. He's a do-gooder kid, and Shazam is the older, he's basically like old school Golden Age Superman, right? His character. Yeah. And then of course, the New 52 came out, and they had to change Billy into an edgelord, a kid with a chip on his shoulder. That's a foster kid, etc. And for the most part, it worked in the comics, and I didn't mind it so much in the last movie, except for the dissonance of having Zachary Levi be such a goofball and the kid be such a cool kid. Like it didn't seem like the same person, right?
I agree. I agree.
And Zachary Levi, to me, in this one, his character works even less because once again, it seems like it's try too hard to make himself seem young. Dude, when Zachary Levi says fam, I haven't seen anything that white since Cold as Ice was on
Yeah,
TV
but see that
screens.
it's for me, I think again, if they would have nailed the character better as Billy Batson being this like cohesive to that character of Shazam, like if there would have been similar behaviors, it would have worked better. But I'm thinking that he is sort of like think that's cool, and I don't know. It again,
That's a
the first
problem,
movie
right?
was like that to me. The first movie was the same in this. It felt the same. I didn't feel like it strayed from the first movie at all.
Yeah, but I think the first movie had a tighter script and it had a better bad guy. I mean, honestly, I think that's a lot of it, right? It's the bad guy.
I mean, the bad guy was better. I did think the bad guy was better, and I did, like I said, I'm reviewing my notes right here, and I'm having a hard time reading them. But um, I
It
do
is hard
think
writing that theater, bro. That's why I don't take notes because I know I would not be able to read them when I got out.
some I can, and then some it's when I'm getting excited and trying to write too fast on certain things. But I do think that it maintained the same vibe as the first one. I thought it was better paced. I think that it looked a little bit better. Um,
It
Now,
did look
again,
better.
the villains weren't as good. I'm not going to argue with you there, and I didn't care for the idea that it's like, oh, this 200-year-old, 2000-year-old girl can be with this 16-year-old or whatever. But they did the same thing in Buffy. So what, angels with Buffy. So you know.
I mean, I did think it was funny that she plays like the high school student to a T at the beginning of the movie. Like seems like she fits right into this current modern world, but then all of a sudden she switches and now she seems like some 2000-year-old out of place, out of time, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
being.
look, it had a childish family element to the whole film. Like a lot of, hey, we just want you to buy this. Like we're not going to treat you like the intellect film watcher in this one. We're going to treat, but again, I kind of felt like that's what they did with the first one, so I was okay with it.
The first one, I think the first one really has a lot more shades of big, right? I mean, that's what the first one is
Oh,
basically superhero big,
oh
right?
yeah, hands down, dude, like for sure.
Although Big is a much, much superior movie to Shazam.
Even though there's even a piano scene in it.
Yeah. But this movie is why they never did a sequel to Big. Because I think it's hard after that original concept, the charm of that original concept wears off. Where do you go from there? Right?
I would have
Especially with kids that are so close to being adults themselves.
Yeah, if you wanted to establish something like, because what's really cool about the Harry Potter franchise is that like now that the movies turned out to become so serious and got so mature over time, by the end it was really a dark film, the last two movies, that like now going back and watching the first one is sort of even better and more charming because you literally are like, oh, it's cool to see this evolution, and it works as a full package of like coming of age for real. Whereas this one, they just stayed the same, and it would have been cooler for them to like take the stakes of higher, and instead of just being like, oh, we're kids, we're safe in our home and all that. It would have been cool if something was like, no, this is starting to get real world, bro, starting to get serious. Like I would have liked that.
Yeah, where the creative vision really gets off. See, here's another thing. If you had a much younger cast, like they were kids, I think it would have been easier for a lot of people, including myself, to enjoy the childish aspects of this movie because you would have been watching kids on screen and you would have said, hey, this movie is for kids, and I can put myself in that mindset, right? To get these teenage actors in this movie and market the way they market it, it doesn't fit for me. It's big, it's totally off. You should have had a much, much younger cast in the first one. Kids that are like 8 to 10 years old, and now they're getting in their preteens in this one, and I think the movie works much better. But yeah, I think that's really the first place they went wrong, honestly, is in their casting of the ages of these characters.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm not going to argue with that because it would have been a cooler dynamic, it was a cooler dynamic in the first one to see that change because the little girl was a little girl. So, but seeing her behave as an adult with a little girl mentality was kind of fun. But now it's like she's starting to get in her adolescent period, but she's still acting like a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that is there. But again, the whole movie was, I don't know. Am I recommending this movie for an Oscar? No. It's the best superhero movie I've ever seen. No, but neither was Shazam. And so like it just sort of felt like Shazam felt popcorn, sort of let's just go have fun on this ride movie. Don't think too hard about it. And that's what I got from both of them. I mean, things are better about the first, but things are better about the second to me.
I wouldn't even recommend this movie for a hangover on the couch on a Sunday when it comes on TNT in T minus 2 weeks or whatever.
Really that painful for you, huh?
It was. What did I say? I told Bobo. I texted this. I texted him. I said we need a new category just for this movie. We have real trash. We need real cringe. I shit you not, Bobo. The amount of times I caught myself doing this maneuver in the movie theater.
It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, okay, so, but you didn't like, none of that stuff bothered you in Black Adam, because when the childish stuff hit in Black Adam, it was just as bad or worse.
Remember, I told you that was the thing I hated about that movie was the kid stuff, but it wasn't as cringe as this. Yeah, Zachary Levi. I might change my mind on you based on this movie, homie, because like all the things I enjoyed about you in the first movie, even though I thought it was totally off. I hated about you. You were awful in this movie. You were the worst part of this movie. How are you going to be the marquee of this movie and be the worst part of the movie?
Zachary, I don't agree with Anshul at all. I thought that you were great in it. I thought all the cast was great in it. I mean, look, were there some things that you sort of had to suspend disbelief with? Yes, there were. But again, I felt like we were just watching this family movie, and so I had fun with it.
One of the number one things you have to suspend your disbelief for is this guy that looks like he's 50 is trying to act like a kid. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, and he is. You're not wrong. I mean, it would have been better if they would have cast him a little, maybe 15 years ago. But
yeah.
Okay, now this is something too. Is it wrong that I am like really attracted to someone who's supposed to be playing a little kid in Megan Good? Because when she is the superhero, it's like, oh my God, you're breathtaking.
Yeah, Megan Good's hot. Megan, that's still not enough to save this movie for me. You can just look up Megan Good on internet. You don't need to watch her in this dumpster fire.
It wasn't a dumpster fire. Look,
is Kevin Smith in this? Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Okay, it wasn't.
So Ezzy, look, this is something, and I just texted Andrew as well. Like, look, we disagree about this completely. Actually, like, I think that there is. I mean, you're on the cringe side. I'm not on the fresh side, but I'm on the decent side for sure.
How can you think this movie is decent?
Because I know.
If we had comments, people would start right now be commenting how you're obviously getting paid by the theaters.
I'm not. Look, if you've guys watched,
by the way, guys, if he is, I'm not getting these checks. Okay, if he's a guy, at least give me a cut. I'll be in and out with him. Okay, we'll both sell out. Don't even get twisted. We will sell in a heartbeat.
Look,
but
if you've guys,
I'm not getting money from theaters right now. Maybe Bobo is.
If you watched the channel before Anshul joined, you know that I'm someone that can like things for what they are, and that to me, this is what they were advertising. Is what I got. They weren't advertising a Man of Steel movie. I think I'm curious to see how he operates with the JSA. But again, is the JSA going to be a thing? Okay, let me ask you this. Again, spoiler alert here, guys, but are we going to see a JSA movie that has all these characters that aren't going to have their own solo movies again? Like, is it possible we see The Rock and Zachary Levi and a couple of other people in a movie, but they don't have solo movies ever again?
That's a great question, Pablo. Let me answer it by saying this. If they continue to make turds like this, we won't have to worry about it, okay? Because Warner Brothers will go out of business. So we won't have to worry about any JSA movies.
Well, that Netflix rumor is real. Now, like, that's actually being considered. The Snyder's Verse license.
What's his face put up a Dark Side loading, which I wish he wouldn't do, because we all know what he wants to do with that script, and he's going to ruin the goodwill he had of that. As soon as Batman impregnates Lois, the internet's going to flip on him.
That'll be crazy, though, right? I mean, and how much fun though will it be? How much fun will it be if they just like, screw it, we're going to Netflix with the Snyderverse and we're R-rating the whole damn thing? I mean, that would be awesome.
I mean, Netflix would basically have to go. I mean, the characters are owned by Warner Brothers. So Netflix would have to basically be like, listen, we'll give you all the revenue for this. That's the only way I see that happening. And for Netflix to do that right now, Netflix isn't in the best financial shape themselves. I think it's something they can easily remedy with stuff they're doing now by introducing different tiers of subscriptions, etc. But, they've blown through all those retained earnings they had. And so
Warner Brothers is not in the best shape in the world. And so, like, what I think they're going to do is license it for a minute. So, like, remember with the how Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff, the Defenders, they were an experiment on Netflix. Like even Feige's come out and said that he's like, that was an experiment to see how these darker characters would do in, on this. And so there was a period of time where the MCU couldn't touch those characters. Now that contract is over. And I could imagine they could do the same thing with the Snyderverse on Netflix, being like, look, this, because then we would have 3 iterations of Batman.
Yeah, and that's gonna be another thing though, getting those actors back on board. Because Ben Affleck in recent interviews has basically said he's done. That he had the opportunity to play Batman or direct on a Batman.
That was
film.
before he got married, though. That was before his life.
No, this is a recent one that just dropped. This interview with him just dropped. Yeah, it was on Variety, I believe. But they talked about James Gunn. He's like, listen, man, I'm just done with that character. No offense to James, seems like a great guy. I just don't want to do it again.
Well, and look, I think that it's a tough thing to play those superhero roles. When you're young, when you're Tom Holland, it's one thing, but when you're older than us and still, I mean, that's
also if you saw Ben at the Grammys, it seems like life has just been tough on him lately.
Well, did you see everything posted? He was like, "Look, sorry." He's like, "I literally have been editing this entire."
Yeah, no, he talked about that in the article too, but it was hilarious. Jenny from the block told
your
him
mind when you're, and I know this for a fact too, man, when your mind is on like your true passion, like especially this morning when I've been launching this trailer and we'll talk about at the end of the cast here, but it's hard to focus on other things. I get it. It's your mind is, especially when you're near the finish line, you're like, it kind of seems like nothing else matters. I get it.
Yeah, he talked about in the Variety interview, and he said the reason he had that face is because Trevor Noah from The Daily Show was coming over to talk to him.
Oh,
so I don't know if that was he literally said that in the interview. So I don't know if he meant that as in like, oh, he was going to interview Trevor Noah, or I hate Trevor Noah. He never clarifies, but that was what he said in that interview. It was like I saw Trevor Noah from The Daily Show coming, and I looked at J-Lo and I said, I'm about to leave you alone on this red carpet, and she said, you better not leave me alone, and that's why I made that face. And then he just kind of leaves that comment at that.
So is he known to like certain people don't like him?
I don't know. I don't know if it was because he was never specified.
He was kind of universally regarded pretty well.
I've asked my brother about him, and he's never really commented one way or the other, because that's been my curiosity as well. And they're both in the stand-up circuit, so I know they know each other. But yeah, it might be that case. It might have been the thing where he was working for The Daily Show and they just didn't want to get interviewed by The Daily Show. It might be something to do with him as well. But
I'd be curious.
Listen, if you go on Twitter, there's a big contingent of people who love the Snyderverse.
There really is, man. It's a core. It's just like the core group of people out there that love Halloween 3. I mean, don't talk shit about Halloween 3 to them, man, because they will kill you.
Yeah,
Flash is going to do good. I'm calling Flash doing good. What do you think? You're calling it's going to be a bomb?
You know what? I'll wait till the early reviews come out to say for sure, to see what the early reactions are. If the early reactions are not good, I think it's going to sink that movie. Because I think after people watch this movie, I just had I was on a text message chat with my one of my old co-hosts, Vincent, and he's like, I'm done with DC. After this movie, I can't watch it anymore. I can't give them any more of my money. I think there are going to be a lot of people who echo that sentiment. Reviews of this movie have not been that great. And I think if you see a tank at the box office, that's going to be why. And if Flash comes out with bad reviews, I think a lot of people are just going to say, you know what, I'm just not going to waste my time.
Yeah, it's so interesting how there's certain things that I'll completely agree with people on. And then there's certain things that like this, it's just like it worked. But it is a testament just to show it's just like music in certain ways. Like, because this obviously wasn't like crap. Like it wasn't like they just sat down and just like, let's just make this real fast. Obviously they spent time on it. And so
hold up. I disagree with you on that completely. I think they just rushed this into theaters and didn't think anything. This is very much a throw it in a blender and just throw it against the wall type movie to me.
But I mean, how can you say that? I think the composition was good. The pacing was good. Like I wasn't confused by the story. I didn't think it was nearly as over convoluted as like a Batman movie.
Was it disjointed and rushed? Yeah. I mean, they get from point A to point B in the shortest time possible and cut out anything that's completely, not just a part of the boiled central down version of the quick plot. It's like reading a Cliff Notes version of a script. It's like a Cliff Note version, the entire plot. And part of it is because they stuck so much in this damn movie that they had to,
I just didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like it was crammed. I felt like it was just a nice pace. Felt like Spider-Man 3, way more crammed. Like this was nothing crammed like that, in my opinion.
I mean, they find the staff in the first scene. They
Okay,
find the
that's how it,
wizard the second
but it
scene.
but it also becomes a big part of the whole deal. You have that flashback to Savannah, and it's like, oh damn, like I actually even forgot about that.
The sisters are all getting along one scene and they're not the next scene.
Okay, yeah, that bothered me, and the fact that Helen Mirren would be like occasionally like that enough is enough, and then sometimes she just let her get away with it. It's like, well, why aren't you standing up for it again? Like that, all that stuff. Yes, there are nitpicks, and I'm not saying the movie's real
The
fresh. I
staff,
don't think it's cringe at all. I
people
thought it
people
was
can dodge the staff in one scene and then it tracks homegirl in the next scene.
again, why doesn't she just shoot them all real fast and just take all their powers real quick? I get that.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, we can dodge it. We're fast. But then, what's her name? The name of the girl, the young goddess, Althena. Althena, when she gets blasted by a staff, she moves entire building. She completely changes where she is position wise because that's her superpower. Yet that magic beam still somehow manages to follow her this time and track her down and blast her and take away her powers.
And again, I just thought that was sort of like maybe Lucy Liu was kind of prepping for that, knowing she was going to do it. But again, I thought it worked, man.
As Maniac, no, this was not released at the right time of year because there should have been no time of the year that this was released. So I'm going to say no on that one.
As Maniac, this movie is not that much different than the first movie. So I feel like that you're going to, anybody listening to this, you're obviously getting 50-50 opinions, but yes, you couldn't release it Christmas because it's not a Christmas movie. The last one was an actual Christmas movie.
By the way, I'm going to go back to this comment as posted earlier. I feel like this is something he said quite a bit, and I feel like this is another shirt with Ez's with Ez's permission. If you ever become a bigger personality on the channel, this will definitely have to be a shirt with your face on it because I feel like you say that a lot.
There was nothing about this movie to me.
But you're right this time, by the way.
Was offensive. There was nothing about this movie that I felt like that they were wasting my time. I honestly didn't. I enjoyed it. I'd say honestly, but you hated Suicide Squad. So
yeah, but not like this. Suicide Squad started losing me. Like I kept waiting for it to get good, and then it just got more and more disjointed, and the humor just never hit for me. And some of the choices they made that, like, I liked the way it was building, but then the choices they made when it got to the critical points of the movie, I didn't agree with, and I thought took away from the overall theme of the movie. It just, to me, it could have been written with a little bit more care. It had all the pieces to be good. I think they just screwed up in putting it together. This had nothing good about it. I mean, this movie, I was cringing from 5 minutes in. And honestly, I regretted buying the ticket after 20 minutes in the movie.
And so what was the first thing that you were like, oh my God?
Oh my God.
I mean, because I want to hear if I feel like it's like, I want to feel like, okay, I get you there. You know what I mean? I want to see if I can understand where you're coming
from.
Opening bridge just didn't bother me.
The opening bridge scene set to "I Need a Hero" was extremely cringe. It was so cringe.
I don't understand what's different about that than any other things that have happened in any other movies where they use songs.
That right there wasn't like I'm done with this movie moment, but that's when I knew that okay, this could get rough. That's like like I saw what they were going for, and I was like, this isn't working. I see what you're going for.
When they were doing like the rock
could get rough.
In the first one? Remember when he was just like hands, lightning from my hands. Lightning from hand, like
that was a much shorter sequence. Much shorter sequence. This bridge scene went on for like 5 minutes.
What about Sweet Dreams playing in the X-Men movie with Quicksilver? Like I just don't understand why it's so cringy.
That scene doesn't work because of the movie. That scene works because that was something visually we had never seen before, not seen on that scale before. Right? That's why that scene sticks out. It's not just Quicksilver doing stuff that we've all seen in a superhero movie before and really trying to cheese it up and be funny. And once again, from a 9-year-old's perspective, I guess he's hilarious. But
see, both of I'm disagreeing with you. I had fun with that part. I thought it was funny. And again, if this was a movie that was like supposed to be like Endgame or something like that, and they went had put through something silly like that in there, yeah, it wouldn't have fit. But I'm watching the part 2 of a movie that I already thought was a fun, family, lighthearted superhero film. So I felt that I got the same with that hero scene.
Yeah, but the first one worked because it felt just the right size for what it needed to be. This one, they try to make it all bigger and funnier and badder, but it doesn't work for that. This movie didn't work because of that. I think if you had kept it smaller, you kept the focus smaller, and had a better villain. I mean, let's be honest. If we have a better villain, maybe we're not even having this conversation, or better villains. Actually, you should have just had one villain, I think.
Yeah, none of it what you're saying. It just, I'm still not understanding why that makes you say cringe. I just didn't.
Oh, the humor was cringe. The humor is cringe. Some of the, like I said, there's nothing more cringe. When I think cringe, nothing sticks out more than that Wonder Woman scene. There were definitely other parts where I cringed, but that's
The first Wonder Woman scene. Spoiler alert, too, guys, if you are not know that by now, because we put it in the title, but not on the thumbnail. But this is a spoiler discussion. But so the first Wonder Woman scene, when the wizards come in.
Oh, that's also because that's what's going to happen. That's also cringe.
Well, at first I thought that I was starting to cringe because I was like, are they saying that like? Because at first I was like, okay, great. They're doing the whole like thing they did with the Superman in the first Shazam, not showing the face, just the bottom. And they've done that in other GCEU movies with cameos too. Like they'll show some of the characters, but not the other way. You know what I mean? So like I was already starting to get mad at. And then it's like, are you telling me that now there's this new thing where this wizard can just pop into anyone's body? But then once I realized it was a dream, it was fine. I thought it was hilarious. Because
I don't have any care about how did it fit the wizard's powers or not. I just saw I knew the joke was coming. I didn't know it was going to be the wizard, but I knew the face wasn't going to be hers, right? It was going to be played off for humor. The only thing I will give that scene is it's one of the rare times that they gave away the end of a movie in a movie that I didn't catch, where when he's looking at that sphere that's called lightning and it blows up, right? That's obvious giveaway. Once again, spoiler at the end of the movie. Right. I didn't catch that until the end. Usually I'm good at catching those. So that's the only credit I'll give the writers for that scene.
So look, that scene worked for me. The Wonder Woman scene in the end was much more cringe. It felt very like, and it felt like, when somebody walks in on a sitcom and everybody applauds. That's what it felt like. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay, come on. And since when can she do this?
Oh, the letter, when Helen Mirren's reading their letter.
That stuff was funny.
So dumb. It's not funny, man. It's not. It's like, because they overdo the joke once again. Like they do that joke a couple of times, right? And they overdo it multiple times. It's just like, okay, man, you're beating a dead horse.
So did you like Thor: Love and Thunder better than this?
I would say they're on equal ground for me, because I think they both miss with the humor. They rely so much on the humor. So when you miss with the humor that you rely on, it's going to make the movie a bad experience.
This is not ridiculous, though, by any means, by like Thor: Love and Thunder. Like Thor: Love and Thunder truly jumped the shark. This doesn't jump the shark. You just didn't think it worked.
This didn't jump the shark? We got evil unicorns at the end that are eating Skittles.
Awesome.
They're eating Skittles. They're supposed to be ambrosia.
Come
on, man. That's what I'm telling you. This movie was written by 11-year-olds.
No,
what ambrosia? What could be like ambrosia? Ooh, Skittles. Skittles are awesome.
Again, family movie.
Come on.
You knew it was a family movie. And so like that works for me. That is a fun thing that I think kids and adults can laugh at together. And like, to me, I was having a good time, and they made the unicorns dark. I thought that I had never seen it like that before. And look, I thought it was just a little taste of some darkness for little kids to play around with. And then now, was it silly when they started riding them? Yeah, because it's like there's no saddles, no nothing. So that was a little weird and they looked kind of goofy. But like the unicorn coming up to them, like if they would just used them as like an army or something, I thought it was cool. And they're stabbing the monsters with their horn. Dude, I laughed my ass off when she's like, taste the rainbow, mother.
That was funny. I'll give you that. The most ancillary characters, by the way, are the parents. Why are they in this at all? When she comes up at the end and, once again, spoiler, we all think Shazam dies. She comes up and she's like, my baby. It's like, you met this kid when he was 16. What do you mean your baby?
Yeah, look, they were the equivalent of the return characters in Transformers 2. Do you remember when the parents came in Transformer 2 and they're all like, comic relief?
Yeah. They're arguing with each other.
Look, some of that stuff, but again, they weren't all that bad. She might have been a little bit more extra than the dad, but I still liked the dad. And he was just like, all right, everybody get to the van. And then he's like, I'm trying to get in the spirit of things. And I don't know. I liked it. It was charming. It's okay for us to disagree. Look, guys, you're hearing it here right now. This is the.
I want you guys to comment and tell me what you think. Because I will say this with my Scream criticisms. Okay. Now, once again, I'm not a Scream fan. I went back and watched other review sites. Now, those review sites had hardcore Scream fans, doing the reviews. And so the problems I had with that movie come to find out, and I think you and Andrew tried to roll with me about this. Those are signature parts of the Scream movies, like the ending, the melodramatic ending, all that stuff that I hated. People that watch the franchise want to see that stuff. Okay, so I will acknowledge. All right, from that standpoint, maybe I was a little bit harsh in my reviews. If that's what they were obviously going for intentionally, because they know that's what the fans want, then far be it from me to tell them they shouldn't do that. I'd still did enjoy the viewing experience myself, but I understand if that's what your fans want, that's what you give your fans, right?
But you're also talking about one movie being a family film and the other movie not, and supposed to be kind of taken seriously.
Well, the main difference is that film knows what its fans want. I don't know if this one does. I don't know if this new movie knows who its audience is. You know, because it seems like it's written sometimes for teenagers. Sometimes it seems like it's written for little kids. Sometimes it seems like they're going for the adults. Like it doesn't really know what it wants to do. Like
crass adult humor in it, except for like the Taste the Rainbows.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I felt like there was no real sex jokes or anything or.
No. But that's what I'm talking about. Like some of the adult-ish type humor, you know?
Sure.
I like the whole dream sequence between Billy and Wonder Woman. Like kids who have those fantasies aren't going to look at that and get the joke as they are adults who have been past that phase, you know, who might remember stuff like that. Oh, like I remember when I was a dumb little kid like that. That's kind of who that humor was geared towards too.
Yeah. Okay. Look. So, we got a lot of stuff here. I don't know if you showed these comments from Esmaniac. I think he left the stream. He said he was going for smoking a pancake. But did you show any of these? The lightning out of the 6.8 on IMDb. He says he sees it ending at 6.2. He said Kick-Ass 2 suffered the same fate, which I enjoyed. Kick-Ass 2 wasn't as good as the first one, but I still enjoyed it. Anyways, I just wanted to put those up in case.
Yeah, I got a lot of his comments. I missed those last couple because I guess we were in the middle of a heated debate. Sorry, Ez.
Yeah, sorry, Ez, if you're listening.
Pancake and a smoke is a weird combination. Hopefully they're separate.
You don't remember that from it's actually Smoking a Pancake? It's from
that's right.
The old number.
Yeah.
Like Bong and a Blitz.
You should have gone with I'm gonna go return some tapes.
Yeah. Like Patrick Bateman.
Yep.
Or you actually should have said, I need to go freeze this chicken before it goes bad.
That's what I was gonna get to. Thank you.
Look, this would have been one of our better conversations, I think, just because we are truly like disagreeing on this movie like 100%. And it's kind of fun to do that sometimes. And I say sometimes we disagree.
It's spoiler because I think I'm going to give this movie real trash. I almost feel like I shouldn't because I almost feel like I'm insulting trash by putting it in the same category with this movie.
Oh, well, I'm already working on creating another graphic, so don't you worry.
Yeah,
the cringe.
This will be the cringiest movie you will ever watch.
So you've heard it from here. He thinks it's super cringy. He thinks it's real cringe, basically. Mm-hmm. I think it's real decent. I had a good time.
Bobo thinks it's the masterpiece.
Of course, Anshul's going to take my words way out of context, but
Bobo thinks it's the greatest superhero movie of all time. I think it's the worst. You know, I'll be excited to see what the comments say. Hopefully, we'll get some comments on this because, man, I just don't get this movie. I think this movie. First of all, do you think they'll make a third movie?
I'm to be honest, man, I don't know how to call DC anymore. I really don't know how to call what they're doing because they say that they're doing stuff and then all of a sudden they'll release something I had no idea about. You know what I mean? So they'll announce that they'll release something I had no idea about. So I honestly, at this point, I can't call it. At one point they were swearing up and down, Snyderverse will never happen. Snyder cut, no way. And then of course now it's everybody's preference. So it's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, that's a little weird because, they said it would never happen, but then they didn't know a pandemic was going to happen. And
true. Yeah.
And there were some behind the scenes. I don't remember the exact stories, but there was a way for Zack Snyder himself to kind of facilitate it happening. And so that kind of prodded them to be like, okay, well, we got no other content. He says he can make this happen. Let's give him some money and let's see what he does with it. Right.
Right.
So,
but look, I mean, things have stirred up before. People have, these days, I think fan stuff can kind of matter as far as what we want, but I don't know look, half the people out there say that the Batman is the best thing they've ever seen. Half the people out there like you and me that were like, we don't get it. And there's, then we got the Joker, which we all think was a great movie, but it wasn't really necessarily a Joker movie, but it is a good movie. And then they're making a Joker 2 musical. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. Like Peacemaker, I think is one of the best things the DCU's made, like really ever, because it's just all around just a really well done show. But then, we get Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, because these movies are ending like Superman being at the end of Black Adam. That movie was just a few months ago.
Yeah, well said.
Wonder Woman's in this movie.
Yeah, and neither of them are coming back. I think we've pretty much. Gal Gadot is still up in the air. She may still yet come back, but if she's digging her heels in, to coin a phrase or to turn a phrase, because she wants Patty Jenkins back, I don't see her coming back because I don't see them bringing back Patty Jenkins.
I don't see.
And you know what? After how bad the second Wonder Woman was, she don't deserve to come back. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's a question: what do you think, in your eyes, right now? Shazam: Fury of the Gods or Wonder Woman 1984?
Wonder Woman 1984 is actually a better film.
Oh!
And I never thought I would say that about any movie ever.
I disagree completely.
It's completely. somehow I'm looking back at Wonder Woman 1984 and saying, after watching this dumpster fire.
What's it, Izzy? We covered your comments.
Yeah. It is bad, but this movie is actually worse, Izzy.
I don't think so.
Believe it or not, it's actually a worse movie than Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, at least I can look at Wonder Woman 1984 and be like, Pedro Pascal's in it.
He is great, and he's the best thing about the movie. But
yeah.
And Chris Pine, but it's serious. And Gal Gadot is beautiful, and she is a good actor. I'm not going to take that away from her, but just the movie, the plot was silly, all of it just way. But I definitely think that is a way worse movie than Shazam 2.
I think your inner 11-year-old is speaking to you right now.
Maybe so. I've been told many a time by people that I need to grow up. So that could be the case. So guys, seriously, this is a true, like, full on opposite spectrum here. I think this movie is enjoyable. I'm going to get it. I'm excited to see it again when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Listen, guys, if you gave me the power to travel back time and you gave me two choices, either A, I can kill Hitler when he was a baby, or B, I can stop this movie from being made, I don't know which one I would choose. So actually it would probably be kill Hitler when he was a baby, because there's 9 million people that got affected by that. But, I would still consider at least making sure this movie didn't get made. So yeah, it's a rough one, people. 20 minutes in, I was hating my life. True story. We were in the middle of a tornado watch. So we're getting right to the end of the movie, the climax. Like Shazam literally calls down the powers of Shazam to defeat the dragon, and the lightning hits the spear. Bam! The movie stops. And the lights had come on during that scene. And I thought it was weird. I was like, what's going on? Why are the lights coming on? Is this part of the movie? Like, is this part of the promotion? Like, when the lightning goes, they're going to bring up the lights? No, we were in the middle of a tornado warning, right? There have been tornadoes spotted in the area. And there was a small part of me that I was like, okay, 3 things could happen. They could turn this movie back on. I could have to finish it. Worst case scenario, they'd tell me to come back and watch it later. And then part of me was thinking the best case scenario, a tornado hits this building right now and puts me out of my misery. Because I was hating this movie so much. But I had gotten to the end. I had to finish at that point so I could do this review. And then I watched that last scene with Wonder Woman, and I honestly was kind of sad that the tornado didn't hit me and put me out of my misery.
Yeah, it's funny because you were talking so bad about it. And the weather was terrible yesterday, and I was debating, should I get out in this? And you were talking so bad about it. I was like, well, damn, maybe it's just going to be a waste of time. But then the weather got pretty good and everything sort of worked out. And then you were like, oh, finished it. And I was like, all right, well, he did finish the movie, so I'm going to go ahead and go watch it. And then I'm glad I did, man, because I definitely really enjoyed the movie. Really enjoyed it. Again, not the best movie I've ever seen, but neither was Shazam 1. But I think
Baba likes everything. I think that's what I'm learning from working with Baba.
I like a lot. No question. I do like a lot, but I like it for what it's worth. Again, I'm not sitting here telling people like this is the best thing I've ever seen, but for what they were going for and what I had based off of seeing the first one, I didn't see much of a stray. Again, I would have preferred them to get a little darker. Yes, there's things I would have liked them to do, but overall I had a lot of fun, thought it worked, thought it was paced well.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're watching this video and you're 7 years old, first of all, welcome to the channel. Second of all, steal your parents' credit card and subscribe to our Patreon. You'll enjoy this movie. If you're 7, you'll love this movie. Okay. But if you've hit puberty, you're probably not going to like this movie.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'd be curious to see when all my friends, especially Andrew, seeing what he says, and then some of my other friends that like don't have kids, things like that. You, as you say, you think it's a film for Christmas time. I mean, in the sense that it's a family type film, maybe,
Mhm.
you know, but yeah, just showing your comments again. And we were saying
Oh
that
my God, Ezzy, you've been like, well, we've been debating this. He's been putting up some gold there. Spider-Man 3 or Shazam 2, Spider-Man 3 all day long.
I think
Johnny Mnemonic
Spider-Man
or
3
Shazam
is.
2. Johnny Mnemonic has got Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves, by the way, we can wrap up the stream talking about how psyched I am for John Wick 4.
Oh,
Because
I
that's
love
what
you how you just dominate, just switch it.
Mallrats or Shazam 2.
Look, there ain't nobody liking Johnny
That's
Mnemonic like
just
you like Johnny Mnemonic.
sometimes in life there is no winner, Ezzy, and that's one of those questions right there. There is no winner. Bobby has swayed over the last 2 years. I've known him.
Oh,
Damn,
over
damn
what?
it.
Over what, as Maniac? You're lying, dude.
Sky High or Shazam 2. Sky High is a way better movie than Shazam 2,
Sky's a good
man.
movie. Sky's a good movie. And hey, who is Maniac? Who is this talking right here? You used to hate slashes and now you love them. They're talking about being swayed.
I think people are going to realize that you're being way too kind on this movie. And hey, you know what? I'm not going to hate on Bobby for having a happy disposition. It's good that Bobo's got a happy disposition. We don't want him to be miserable like the rest of us. But sometimes we need to be realistic here. And listen, if you guys go watch this movie, I'm pretty confident you agree with me that this is the worst superhero movie since Supergirl, starring Helen Slater.
This totally. No, so you're saying Bloodshot's better than this? Come on. No, this movie is not anything as bad as Anshul's saying it is. I think
We'll
he's
say
being incredibly
mainstream.
harsh on it.
We'll see mainstream DC or Marvel movie. You want to talk about some weird off-brand superhero that nobody cares about since 1995? Then no, we're not. Obviously, it's not as good. It's not worse than Bloodshot. It's close though. It's really close.
I think you're being too hard on it, man. But look, we're obviously not going to agree.
Bobby's optimism will be. It's not going to be his downfall. Okay, there's not going to be downfalls here.
Yeah, thanks for talking trash, Ezzy.
Yeah, man. Come on, Ezzy.
You know what I believe in? Standing for what you like and not letting other people sway you. And that's not what I do. I don't let anybody.
AKA Bobby's getting checks from. I'm gonna have to check the finances of this channel, guys. I know Bobby's getting checks from Warner Brothers right now.
That's why I sent a mass text out yesterday trying to get people to help me for my computer because I'm
clever
making mass checks.
Yeah. By the way, guys, so maybe we should get the Patreon started and we can make our first goal your new computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to contribute to that, but I'm also broke. But we need to get Bob a new computer first. So
yeah,
we were almost late for the stream, guys.
Yeah, because of the computer. Oh, look. No, oh, now you want to come back? No, you already said the damage as Maniac. You already said that it'll be my downfall. Because no, I'll remember the people who were naysayers. I'll remember the people who didn't believe, that wanted to talk trash.
Hey, what trailers did you get? Did you get the Flash trailer?
I didn't get the Flash trailer at all. I didn't get any good trailers, actually. Our movie started relatively soon.
Did you get the weird one about the Kraken?
No, I didn't get any trailers like that.
Some new animated Pixar movies coming out where the main hero is a Kraken.
I got Across the Spider-Verse.
Did you? I did not get that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess we just had totally different. And normally there's like 25 minutes of trailers. Literally, when I go see these movies these days, this one literally had like 2 trailers.
Yeah, it's probably because nobody want to be associated with this.
Oh, look,
trash.
Disagreed. Hey, but before we leave, and I wanted you to talk about Keanu Reeves as well. But I don't want to take that up either. So did you have something you were going to say about Keanu?
Early reviews are glowing about this movie. Every review I went across, all the reviewers that I love, shout outs to some of them that we want to team up with eventually, like Jeremy Johns, like Chris Stuckman, IGN will probably never work with us, but hey, why not shout them
Drum
out?
Dum, Lee McCoy, what's up? Shout out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they have said, most of them have said at the very least it's the best of the sequels and it might be the best of the franchise. Sorry, I'll bang my desk in. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my hype level for this movie has reached 11.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well, man. Definitely super excited about it. I'm curious just to see how he's, looking like, because in Matrix Resurrection, I don't know if he was just, they were telling him to be this way, but he was like walking and moving like an old man. Like it looks like he was actually starting to hurt in real life. And I'm not saying that derogatorily. I mean meaning that like, it looks like he's finally, after all the damage he's put himself through with these movies, like it was starting to catch up to him. But then it doesn't look like that in the trailer for John Wick 4. So I'm curious if that was just a decision that they were going for the Matrix movie.
Maybe. I mean, also, I think this one is going to take place shortly after the end of the third one. So it might, you might be able to. He's been put through the ringer, right?
Yeah, and they filmed they filmed John Wick 4 and Matrix back to back. I'm not sure which order either.
That might have been why he was limping in Matrix if he just got done filming.
Could have been
John Wick 4. He's not getting younger, but if he's probably gonna make a John Wick 5 and 6, and it'll probably be fire, and then he's gonna leapfrog your boy Sly Stallone.
No, look, Anshul, we had this conversation this morning as Maniac and I did. There's just no way, dude. Come on. We grew up, dude. Stallone and Arnold have been a part of my life since I was a baby. There's no way that
Keanu. Oh, that's Keanu.
No, he hasn't. At first,
Keanu with Bill and Ted. We were in fourth grade when that came in.
No, I did. Dude, I was what fifth grade?
Yeah, I was in fourth grade. You're younger than I am,
dude. But before I could breathe and remember to talk, I remember Rocky and Rambo being in my world. Like, and Commando and Terminator, all that, dude.
Yeah,
like,
so your memory of those days is that great that it doesn't just run together with Keanu?
What I'm saying, no, yes. I remember loving Rocky and loving Rambo, loving Terminator, loving Arnold and all that stuff before Karate Kid, before I ever saw Bill and Ted.
Remember, two of those movies that are the best two of the movies, arguably, do not count as action flicks, right? Rocky is not an action flick. Rambo is not an action flick.
They were still badass action dudes that I was trying to be like, because I didn't care about the plot of those movies when I was a kid. It was about those dudes that I wanted to be like.
Yeah, look, kids are not growing up right now want to be Keanu. They want Keanu Reeves. John Wick is in Fortnite.
I didn't grow up, dude. John Wick wouldn't exist if it weren't for the movies that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone did.
Yeah. There's always somebody that set the trend. There are people that inspired them. So are we going to give
somebody saying that this guy's going to be a better star than Elvis ever was? It's kind of like Elvis set the stone. You know,
first of all, Elvis stole all his swag anyway, right? So
he admitted that. He didn't try to hide that.
He did for sure. That's not anything that's controversial. It comes from the man's mouth himself. I got nothing but respect for Elvis. But I mean, listen, we can go back to Buster Keaton and say that, Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Buster Keaton talkies.
What I'm saying is no, but Stallone and Schwarzenegger set a new level of what these guys are.
Yeah. John Wick came out in Fortnite years ago. But yeah, listen.
John Wick is awesome. I love it, but you're just never going to make me think that Keanu Reeves like accidentally turned into the action stuff. Stallone and Schwarzenegger were like the epitome of it. That's what they are.
Yeah, but then once Keanu Reeves started doing it, he started excelling at it. Like I'm not saying he's got one of the most influential action movies of all time. I mean, listen, if I say Matrix is one of the most influential action movies of all time, right? I think it would. I mean, are you going to name Hey, Predator's pretty influential, but I would say as far as movie making and filmmaking goes, Matrix is more influential
than Terminator 2. Come on.
Well, I think they're about even, though. I think they both kind of influenced the direction of movies.
Again, we'll disagree on this one. You're cool with just changing and going and leaving the old schoolers behind and jumping to the new. I'm loyal to my dudes. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're having a conversation based on merit, Keanu is a couple action movies away from having more big, bankable, well-reviewed action films than
but all in the same.
And once again, I said Arnold.
Two franchises.
Arnold, I think Arnold is still ahead of him, and Arnold will still be ahead of him, right? But I think Sly, that's definitely a conversation worth having.
Okay, Keanu didn't write any of these things. Sly wrote almost all of it and directed half of them. So
once again,
there's got to be something there.
The movie he wrote, though, Rocky, not an action movie. He didn't write Rambo. Rambo's based on the book.
He's the action star, though, is what I'm saying. And those stars, you're looking up to be that Rocky dude. But look, we're gonna fight all day about this. It's fine. You think that Keanu is better than Stallone and Schwarzenegger? I don't.
I didn't say Schwarzenegger. Remember, I gave you Schwarzenegger. I said Schwarzenegger at first, but you convinced me. I was like, all right, you know what? You're right. It's he's got a ways to go before he catches up to Arnold. That's not fair. Arnold's got a lot of great franchises, but Stallone has really two great action franchises. Keanu has two great action franchises, and now
but you're also talking about you don't like Expendables. There's a whole huge community that loved that franchise, which is his as well.
Are you going to compare Expendables to The Matrix or to John Wick?
I'll compare it to the John Wick, the first one. Now, obviously, it's become something different, but it's not like they make $1 billion at the box office. You know what I mean? They make good money, but they're not just huge money makers that just break the bank.
I'd have to go look. I think the last couple did pretty well at theaters. The first one took everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was coming with the first one. We all thought the same thing. We're like, this movie looks like it fits. It should have been made 30 years ago.
But there's a huge group of us out there that love the Chuck Norris style of movies. And that's what Expendables is. And that's what
I love that too. And then, eventually it got old, man. Things get old too.
To you. Not to a lot of people that still love it, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, they might love the originals, but they're not looking for that same type of movie now.
Maybe
they love it for that time. You can go back and watch MIA and enjoy it because it was MIA, but you're not looking for them to remake MIA.
No, but I would love to see a new style of movie like that with just a little updated pacing and everything. I think that's great. But again, it's okay. We like different stuff. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, we do. And definitely we disagree on Shazam, and we also disagree on the fact that that Bobby doesn't want to admit that Stallone's been surpassed by Wake.
I am not agreeing to anything because
Tropic Thunder. Are you talking about the Hulk Hogan vehicle, Tropic Thunder? Because that was Thunder in Paradise. My bad.
Yeah. I was about to say, and then there was like Suburban Commando, and
which I loved as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna put Hogan's gonna pass them all, right? He's a better action star than Stallone.
I loved it as a kid, but I don't love it now. That's what the point I'm trying to make, Bobby, is not all the time you love something as a kid. You gotta love it when you're 30 years later.
Stallone is consistently put out stuff that I love, is what I'm saying. So you can't take that away.
That was a long time ago, Bobby.
No, he has consistently put out stuff that I love. He's still putting out stuff that I love.
After the first Expendables,
away from me.
Did you like?
I love the second one almost better than the first one.
What about the third one?
The third one was a little bit of letdown in effects, but I still thought it was a party.
What about the seventh one?
I loved Rambo 5. I loved Rambo 4. I love Rocky Balboa. I love both of the Creeds.
Those are like 20 years ago, though.
No, they're not.
When did Rambo 4 come out?
I just said the Creed 2 and 3. Escape Plan.
Yeah, but okay, he's not the star of Creed 2 and 3, though, right?
He's a coast. Look, what I'm saying is that Stallone is consistently putting out stuff. Is he doing kung fu crazy action sequences like Keanu's doing right now? No, but Stallone is 80. I mean, all right. You're not going to change my mind, bro.
Rambo the Last Bud would have been in 2019. So 4 years.
Yeah, that was 15 years ago. Okay, good job.
4 years ago.
15 years ago is what you said.
But that's also his most recent action movie. So that's it. Like that's. I mean, come on, man. I think.
How long ago was John Wick 3 until this one? And Matrix
the new one's coming out, so it doesn't matter. If Rainbow 6 was coming out, then maybe it's a different conversation. But
dude, your argument is just not that valid as far as you trying to look at statistics and movies that were made. It's okay for you to like Keanu better, and it's okay for me to like Stallone better. It's all right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not right. You can like who you want to. I'm just saying definitively, objectively speaking.
You know what? You're right, Anshul. Is that what you want me to say?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
You heard it here first, guys.
Anshul is right, guys.
No, actually, you know what, guys? Why don't you settle who's right or wrong? Because this is what movie talk is. It's all about fun, right? Obviously, we don't take it personally, but we like to stir up debates and we like to stir up shit because that's what gets people talking. And we want you guys to talk more in the comments. We want the debate to occur in the comments. It's okay. You guys can diss each other and hate each other in the comments. It's what the internet's for. We're all
oh yeah.
Just don't get personal, you know? But we're all allowed to viciously disagree, and that's what movies are all about. We shouldn't agree. We shouldn't all like the same things. And that's why I'm glad we represent that in this channel. So Shazam, Fear of the Gods. I hated the movie. Bobo loved the movie. He thought it was cinema, in the words of Martin Scorsese.
I thought it was a good movie.
He's writing it on his Oscar ballot as we speak. But what did you guys think about it? Comment and let us know below while you're at it. Like and subscribe to our videos. Hit that bell notification to be notified when more movies drop. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Shogun of Cinema, patreon.com/BrassReel, facebook.com/BrassReel. And we haven't put anything on TikTok in a while, so I'm not going to even mention the TikTok, but we'll get back to it eventually.
Yeah. The app that our government's trying to ban left and right in all different ways.
YouTube Shorts, whatever.
Right.
So, in the meantime, just remember.
Before we do that, though,
I
want to let you guys know we're going to end on something here as we go out.
Oh,
I got his name was Josh. I don't have it. I'm gonna have it pulled up and let y'all see it real quick before we leave. But we'll do the outro first. I just want to let y'all know. Stay and watch this trailer at the end.
Now, why don't we do it before the outro to make sure people catch it?
Okay, so guys, check this out. This is a trailer that I'm working on with my partner Andrew and Trent, and we are trying to get this crowdfunded here coming soon. But I'll just tell you a little. It's basically a twist on a legacy that you're all familiar with in the horror world, and we have a story to tell that we think is really cool that hadn't been told yet. Can't give away too much because I don't want anybody ripping it off. But what I can do is show you the trailer right here. So let's check this out. I'm gonna add this to the stream, and we're gonna just do this real quick. And here we go. So check this out, guys.
Your local Ashley store is
All
now
right,
offering
there it
Yeah,
is.
we even stuck in a little commercial. That's the first commercial we played on this.
Right.
Hey, that was fire, man. That was fire.
I don't know if the sound came through properly because I was sharing a screen. I tried to upload it to our videos here, but it was saying it was too large of a file. So I had to share it through another screen. So the sound might have been whacked out, but thank you.
Yeah. Hey, listen. True story. I watched that trailer. I was super excited. I thought it was hype. I emailed Bobby as soon as he said to me. I was like, dude, that was dope as hell. And I was thinking about that trailer. I was watching Shazam, Fear of the Gods, because I was hoping Josh would come slit my throat in the middle of that movie and put me out of my misery. Alas, he didn't. And you know what? That's okay. Because there's one thing I've learned in partnering with Bobo, that sometimes when life gives you lemons, all you got to do is
make some hot. Oh, hang on a second.
Make some hot, fresh popcorns.
we out.
Peace.